TBC, what's the deal? Now, before I do this post-fight, let me give a shout out to 2 subscribers, Copinned09 and Don't Die Myron. They both sent me links to this fight, asked me to check it out. Very entertaining fight. Also, let me give a shout out to Dale Town because he did a post-fight video on this fight. But very entertaining, good fight between 2 prospects. James Hammortree versus Gentleman George Arias, Dominican kid representing the Boogie Down Bronx, the BX. I've done a prospect watch video on Arias. I will leave that in the description. I did that like in December. So watching this fight, you know, it was a good fight. They didn't have to find each other. The first round they came out slugging. Hammortree is a 6-0 fighter. All his 6 wins came by knockout. He hasn't went past the 2nd round, but he's fought guys that that were just starting their careers. He didn't really fight anybody with too much experience, so it was a step up for him, and it was a step up for George Arias fighting a guy who's undefeated, that's coming to win. Unknown prospect, but still a guy that's 6-0 with 6 knockouts. So that lets you know that he has knockout power and he is coming to win. Now, when the fight started, like I said, they didn't have to find each other. They were right there in the center of the ring. George Arias, we know he fights out of that Tyson, Frazier, you know, Floyd Patterson, even Dwight Muhammad Qawi to a certain extent. That peekaboo, you know, bobbing and weaving and ducking and rolling under punches. One thing about this fight that I noticed about Arias is I noticed he was 234 pounds, which is his career high, although he's only had, you know, 5 fights. But I liked him, you know, when I've seen him fight Randy Easton. That fight is on YouTube. The Eric Kaysen fight, he was in the 220s in those fights, and he looked just quicker, a little bit more sharper in those fights, in my opinion. His footwork, especially the Eric Kaysen fight, his footwork, he looked sharp in that fight. In this fight, he seemed to gas by about round 3. Round 2, he looked gassed, he looked spent. And it's because of the work rate that him and Hammortree were doing in the first couple rounds. They were right there. It seemed like Hammortree wanted some distance. He wanted some room between him and Arias so he can land that right hand, that jab right hand, and, you know, fight going downhill without anything coming back. But Arias didn't allow it because he got right up on him. And it looks like he was the more harder puncher. He hurt Hammortree a few times. Looked like he almost about to go down in one of the rounds, I forget. But looked like he hurt him. Arias is a guy, I don't think he's going to be a one-punch knockout artist. Like I said in my prediction video, I think he's going to be a guy, not my prediction video, but my prospect watch video on him. He's going to be a guy who's going to have to chop you down, you know, and, you know, invest to the body early and then get you out of there mid to late round stoppages. I think he'll be that type of guy where he'll work and chop you down in there. He's very energetic. The dude does like the running man and jumping jacks, and he's bouncing around, and he has a lot of, you know, he's very charismatic. He's very upbeat. He wants to fight. He loves to fight. You can tell he loves to be in there, man. This dude is very energetic young man. In this fight, I want him to lose, not come in this heavy. Now, he didn't look fat. He didn't, you know, he looked muscle bound, but to me, he's a lot better. He looked a lot sharper. He just looked in better shape around his waist in his previous fights. Hammortree fought a damn good fight though, man. He was fighting back. He was getting pushed against the ropes, but he was fighting back. You can tell him going on his back foot is not his game. He was landing some good uppercuts on Arias. Arias, you know, I know he likes to bob and weave and duck, but were the, you know, Frazier, Tyson, they were susceptible to getting uppercutted, man. So you want to stay out of the way of them uppercuts. A few times he had his head completely down, like parallel to the canvas, where I knew he couldn't see anything. And that's, trainers tell you don't want to do that. You can bend down, but you want to keep your eyes up, chin down, eyes up. A few times you can tell Arias just put his whole face down to the ground. I was like, ooh, that's pretty dangerous. This fight, he elected to go on his back foot. I've seen him do it a few times. I wasn't surprised. But it seemed like this time he went to it because he was a little bit winded and tired. And it looked like, you know, he blew his wad a little bit, and then he kind of elected to go on his back foot to get some rest. And I've seen guys do that. They'll go on their back foot. You think they're just switching to their back foot to outbox you. Sometimes that's the case, but sometimes they're doing it to get rest. Obviously, when you're in there tired, the guys are just going to say, hey, give me a second, let me rest. You know, you have to find your opportunities and ways to rest. Sometimes guys rest on the inside. They hold, clinch, resting on the inside. Sometimes guys get on their bicycle, stick a jab out there just to keep you off balance and give them time to regroup. But he looked winded down the stretch of this fight, man. But Hammortree fought a damn good fight. I like to see Hammortree again. He fought a valiant effort. He fought to the end. For a guy that's never been past, he only went 2 rounds one time. Rather than that, he had 5 first-round knockouts. So for him to go to 4 rounds against Arias, and he was energetic after the fight too. Both of these guys, I like to see a damn rematch. I would watch these dudes fight 10 times if I had to. Good fight, man. Very good fight. And then when Arias went on his back foot and used his jab, he was using a damn good jab. It seemed like Hammortree was kind of confused by that because he was expecting Arias to come forward. So when Arias went on his back foot, Hammortree was able to let some shots go because Arias had his hands up, keeping his hands to himself. He wasn't really throwing any combinations. Like I said, he was trying to get some rest. And it looked like Hammortree knew that. Then he was trying to let his punches go. But he was still kind of, he seemed pretty indecisive. Like he didn't know if he should just fully attack Arias or what Arias was doing. But I think that kind of threw a monkey wrench in it for Hammortree with Arias going on his back foot. But for a guy like Hammortree, who I know likes to come forward and get you out of there, he didn't fight all that bad on his back foot. He was landing some very good counters, some uppercuts and hooks. Very entertaining fight all around. For those of you that haven't seen the George Arias documentary, I advise you guys to go here on YouTube and type in Humble Boxer. It's George Arias documentary about the kid. Let you know a little bit about his background, his motivations to box, why he boxes, what motivates him. I like it's a good documentary. James Hammortree, hey man, I want to see this dude again. I want to see James Hammortree again. But good fight by George Arias. He's going to move on. He's still undefeated. I want to see more of him. Good damn fight. I will leave the fight in the description. YTBC. I'm out.